Right, so we're going to start off with our a glutes bridge. So just going to lie on our backs, making sure that the shoulders are in contact with the floor, pressing the hands into the floor, and we'll just lift the hips up, and we're going to straighten one leg, so we're keeping a nice straight line all the way through from this hip to the knee to the ankle, and then we're just lowering and lifting. When you lift back up, just lift so that your knees are in line. You don't need to lift any higher, because otherwise we start putting undue stress on the spine. So we're going to do about 20 seconds on one side and then 20 on the other. So lowering, lifting on one side, nice and controlled and smooth. And we're pressing through the hands. We'll swap sides. Also engaging the glute on the bent leg as well. So we're using the muscles in both backs of the legs. This is a really good exercise for your posterior chain. That's all the muscles in the back of the body. And then we're lower. Okay, so the next exercise, we're going to stay on our backs. We're just going to lift a little bit off the floor, so we keep our lower back in contact with the floor, but just the upper back is raised. And then we're going to take our hands pointing towards our feet, and we're just going to imagine we've got like a steering wheel here in our core, and we're just rotating round in a little small semicircle from side to side. So you will be looking up and through your legs on this one, because otherwise, because the head is so heavy, if you neutralize your spine, you're going to find that's quite a hard thing to do. We've got a few more left. This one builds up, it's quite hard. And release down. Okay, we'll just lie for a minute, just rocking the pelvis, just to release in the core area. So just bring your hips up and then press the lower back into the floor. So just rocking on that lower back, just to release. Okay, the next exercise is going to be the side plank. So we're going to do this on both sides. You can either press into the elbow and lift, so making sure your elbow's underneath your shoulder, and we're pressing up, and we're holding for 40 seconds on one side and then 40 on the other. So it's your choice, whichever exercise you can hold with good form. Have your fingers nice and spread out, lifting the hips. If your arm starts to shake, it's okay. It might do if you've got a straight arm. Keep breathing and holding. If you want to come down onto your elbow, if it's shaking too much, or you just want to recover for a bit, then that's absolutely fine. We've got about 10 seconds left. Breathing and holding. Pushing those hips up and pressing through the hands and the shoulders so that we're not collapsing through there, and then just lower. Then we're going to the other side. Okay, so again, pressing up through the hand and the shoulder, keeping that shoulder in line here, and the elbow and the wrist. Lifting the hips, breathing, pressing through that hand. Just keep focusing on lift in this position if you can. If you want to come down and then come back, then that's also an option. We've got just under 10 seconds left. Keep breathing and lowering down. Okay, so we're going back into our hip lift. So onto your back. Sorry, the glute bridge. So making sure those knees are in line with the hips as well. Lifting the hips up off the floor, and we're just lifting one leg and then lowering a few inches off the floor and then back into straight so that it's in line with the other knee. Bringing your chin down as well so that you've got a neutral spine in this position, and pressing those shoulders back into the floor. Swap round now, swap legs. Breathing in this exercise. And we'll do one more, pressing into the hands and then lowering. Okay, and then we're coming up into that core side to side exercise. So we're pressing the feet down, lifting the upper half of the body up, and then just moving from side to side. Breathing as you do this, just looking between your legs. And remember to take some deep breaths as well, because we can start getting shallow. We're over halfway through now. If you want a little break, you can do. Remember, we're imagining there's a steering wheel in the middle of our core. We're kind of doing a semicircle from side to side. And then releasing down. Awesome. We'll do that pelvic rocking again, just to allow the core a little bit of rest before the next exercise. So we're just arching the lower back and then pressing and lifting the hips up a little bit off the floor here. So we arch, rock, and then pressing each vertebra into the ground as we lift up the hips. And then again, we'll do two more. And you can breathe in when you arch your spine. So you're breathing into the belly and then breathing out as you release. So breathing in one more time. And breathing out to release. Okay, we're going to come up to our plank, our side plank now. So pressing up through the hands or the elbow, lifting up through the hips, and trying to keep the head in line. Your head does tend to dip down a little bit in this one. So just focus on keeping it as much in line as you can. Breathing and holding. If you want to, you can bring a leg raise into it, but don't feel you have to. We'll do a few for the last few seconds. And last one, and release. Okay, we go on to the other side now. And again, pressing through that hand or the elbow and lifting your hips up. Breathing and holding. And if you want to do leg lifts on this side, we'll do them in a few seconds. It might have been too much. It might not work on this side. That's fine. But if you want to bring some in, we can start doing it now. So just lifting the leg and lowering. Pressing the hips up towards the ceiling. And one more. And release down. Excellent. So we're on our last circuit now. So back onto our backs. And then lifting the hips. Keeping that upper back pressed into the ground. And then straightening one leg. And then just lowering down. Pressing the hands into the floor. And pressing the upper back and shoulders into the floor as well. Do one more on this side and then swap. Breathing And thinking, feeling what you are actually engaging. So which muscles are working here? Just try and tune into that. And we'll do one more. And lower. Okay, so we're into that fun core steering wheel exercise. So we're lifting the upper back off the floor. And we're going to go from side to side, reaching towards the feet. Imagining that we're using that core as our power center. It's really working from there. It's quite nice. I can see some clouds just drifting across in front of me. It's some kind of distraction today. Normally it's just grey out there. Breathing. You got this. We've got a few more seconds. And release down. Well done. That's a tough one. So again, we'll do that pelvic rocking just to release. So breathing in, expanding the belly and arching the spine, and then breathing out and squeezing the hips up a little bit, pressing the lower back into the floor. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. We'll do 2 more. Try and make the movement nice and smooth as well. So the last one, make it super smooth and slow. Okay, so we'll come onto our side plank now, rolling onto our side. And we shall press up through the hand, lifting up the hips. Keep breathing and holding, nice strong core. Remember, we're trying not to collapse in this side body. We're trying to push the hips up towards the sky or the ceiling, wherever you are. Keeping your fingers pressed into the floor. And if we want, you can add some leg lifts. Engaging through that core, feeling strong and controlled. Last one, and lower down. Well done. And then the last exercise we'll do on the other side, plank, side plank, pressing up through that hand. And breathing and holding. Lifting the hips up. And then if you want to bring a leg raise into it, you can do. A few more left. Nice and controlled. Do one more and then lower. Well done. Okay, so just come onto your back and we'll squeeze the knees into the chest and you can just rock from side to side. And then if you want to, you can make some circles. So just bring the knees in and then guide them round. So push them away from you and then round to the side. Just massaging the lower back a little bit, unless you've got a zip on the back of your leggings, in which case it's not quite so comfortable. You can go the other way now. Okay, and then just squeeze the legs in, cross the ankles, and what we're going to do is we're going to take the feet in the hands, and we're just going to try and rock up to sit. You might need to take a few goes and then you'll get up there. Well done, and thank you again for joining me. Have a good day today.